Good day to all my listeners out there, and I'd like to welcome you to Is Your Way in Your Way podcast. And I'm your host. My name is Cassandra Crawley Mayo. And this podcast for my new listeners, I probably have new listeners on, just want you to know what this is all about. It's a podcast for individuals who are ready to move forward in their lives. They want to overcome obstacles. They like to mitigate those self-imposed barriers that's preventing you from living your best life on your terms. And we talk about topics related to personal and business development and even self-improvement. And today, our topic is going to be called Life by Design, Not by Default. And I have a special guest on that knows all about it. And her name is Donna Teschen. And I am going to introduce. Hello, Donna. How are you today?
I am wonderful, Cassandra. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you. And for my listeners, let me read a little bit about Donna's bio. Donna was the founder of Vibrant Living International, empowers individuals on their journey to purposeful lives. With 25 plus years as an inspirational speaker and life mastery coach, she accelerates personal transformations globally. Let me read that again. She accelerates personal transformations globally. Donna hosts the You Were Designed for Greatness podcast, authored 3 books, and is known for exposing truth and dispelling fear. Wow, we got to hear about that one. Collaborating with her is a refreshing journey towards your vibrant, purposeful self, making it easier to empower your dreams while maintaining harmony in life and in relationships. She specializes in helping you unlock the secrets of spiritual intelligence, making it easier than ever to empower your dreams. So, Donna, my first question to you, and I know my listeners want to know this too. What qualifies you to helping people with the burning desire to achieve their dreams?
What qualifies me? It's an interesting question when it's been part of who I am for probably, I was trying to think, I became an entrepreneur following dreams when I was in my 20s, probably. And one of my mentors says this, and I resonate with it. She says she has a PhD in how not to do it.
Okay.
And a lot, I mean, when we're in our 20s and we're doing things, there's a lot of learning curve on how to, and is your way in your way. I love the name of your podcast.
Thank you.
We don't think about, am I in the way? It's everyone else that's in the way, right? It's my upbringing. It's money. It's the world. It's the way people treat me. It's my connections. It's not me, right?
That's right. Absolutely not.
Oh, so achieving and going after dreams it's been part of who I am. And so it's the way I was created.
Wow. So Donna, so was this always your dream I want to get into your backstory a little bit on Life by Design. You've always wanted to, or should I even say you are living your life by design? I'm certain you are.
No, that wasn't the case in the beginning.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is something that I have learned how to do. And I don't know that anyone has arrived. We're continuing to learn and grow and expand. But a little bit of my backstory, that I grew up in a family where money was tight.
Okay.
It was a blended family. So there's emotional stuff that we could talk about in there as far as that goes. And we're hardworking people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like hardworking. There was a period where we gleaned fields for things that the tractors had left behind, potatoes, and
Okay.
we were always picking and canning and
Okay.
frugal shopping, and all of that all of this creates our belief
Yes,
about
that's right.
how the world is.
Yes.
And so, you know, money doesn't grow on trees.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, it's hard. You have to squeeze that penny until it screams, you know,
That's
all of those pinching things that that I learned anyway.
yes.
I don't know about you. And then I had another event that shaped the way I looked at myself even more is at the age of 14, I was sexually assaulted,
Mm-hmm.
and I became pregnant.
Okay.
And at 15, I'm a mother.
Oh,
Do you
wow.
remember where you are when you were 15? And
Wow.
I grew up in a religious home. This wasn't okay. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
matter why. And there was so much shame and resentment and anger and all of those emotions. I mean, when we're teenagers, we feel everything strongly. And
Yes.
so
Mm-hmm.
learning to overcome that. And already life is hard, right? You know,
Yes.
in pinching money. And now I'm a teen mother.
Yes.
And so this is not the way I wanted to design my life.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go to football games and hang out with the kids, and I'm
Yes.
changing diapers and staying up late, and everything drastically changed.
Yes.
So this all shaped how I saw myself, but that desire was when people asked me young, what do you want to be when you grow up? All I could say was, I'm going to help people. I
Okay.
knew exactly how that was going to look and how that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of things,
Yes.
but how does that work? So I began my quest to learn how to do things, as I put it, God's way.
Okay.
And how to live in a place where there's all these promises and I wasn't experiencing them.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So I began to go on a quest to how everything that is created, the desk that you were next to, the chairs we're sitting in, the devices that we're using, was first a thought before it became a thing.
That's true.
And so everything, as I put it, is created twice. Everything is. And so if that's true, should I learn how to go and live from the unseen, if you will, with my thoughts, with my activities, with my beliefs? What am I actually believing? And begin to create what I would love and how to do that. So it began a quest that I have, and it was only about 2.5 years ago that I released the Life by Design program.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you then, what are the keys to building the life by design? Like how do you, like you talked about, you were a mom at a very young age, your background with your religious background, how that was shameful. Um, but yet you overcame it. And then, like you said, you decided to go ahead and create the life by design. And I'm going to say not by default, because that's the title of
Mhm.
our podcast today. But what were some of the keys to building that?
The first step is really clarifying what I want.
Okay.
And one of the questions I ask people is, who is designing your life?
Mm-hmm.
Um, is it because if I do this, you know, I can't do that because somebody will be upset? We don't want to harm our relationships. And a lot of times we will not do what we really love because of what someone might think.
Mm-hmm.
Love and belonging is a core need. So if it's going to be, so who's designing your life? When do you say, I should, I have to?
Mm-hmm.
When do we say those things? And who said we have to?
Right.
Instead, it is more empowering to say, I choose to.
Yes.
including cleaning the bathroom and doing the dishes and the laundry.
Yes.
Instead of saying I have to, say I choose to, because we're truly choosing. But whenever say I have to, I feel resentful. I feel irritated.
Exactly.
It's beginning to shift the words that we use because they are creative. They
Okay.
create our experience. The words that we use create our experience.
That's right.
Beginning to look and see what you do want. If you could have whatever you wanted,
Mm-hmm.
what would you like your life to look like? And actually give time
Mm-hmm.
to that thought process of
Yeah.
what you would like. Most of us are so busy and stressed out and all of the things that that's not something we do on a regular basis.
That's right. That's right. And and one of the questions that I ask people from a scale of 1 to 10, um, how would you rate yourself, 10 being the highest in living your best life at this point in time? And a lot of people struggle with that. They think like, oh, I don't know. And like you said, haven't even really thought about what does living my
Mhm.
life by design look like? What does living my best life even look like? Um, but once you help them to get to that place, then of course you have to choose, as you indicated, and you talk about joy a lot. But what are some are there some cycles, like how can you stop the cycle of like anxiety and
Mhm.
depression and fear? And I know you said one time, I read something that you said you can knock fear to the curb. Is it that easy to do? Like how do people uncover that, and how do they overcome that? And maybe they never overcome it, but how do they work through it?
Yeah. One of the keys that, if I can back up and then I'll touch on that just a little
Okay.
bit. One of the keys is activity that I encourage people that I work with do is begin with the end in mind.
Hmm.
And Stephen Covey did that book, and How to Win Friends and Influence People. He had a chapter named that. And I read that in my 20s and I've never forgotten it.
Hmm.
And it has shaped the decisions that I make. And it is about writing your own eulogy.
Yes.
How do you want people to know you?
Hmm.
Because we spend so much time, okay, I maybe you too, spend so much time worrying about my clothing size or other things that we spend a lot of energy being concerned about, where when we get to the end of our life, that won't matter.
Exactly.
And so beginning to focus on what really matters
Okay.
is the first step in asking that question. What do you don't want is a good question to say what I do want. So
Hmm.
people, when they struggle with finding that out, it is an ongoing process.
Yes.
It is it because it changes, as you probably have noticed. It changes through the decades that you live.
Exactly.
What you want, it begins to shift and grow and expand and be different, and that's okay. It's a
Hmm.
living document
Yeah.
because we're
That's
living it.
exactly.
Oh, and then fear. One of the biggest tips that I helped me with, one of my mentors said, is first of all, we try to pretend like we're not afraid.
Hmm.
We try to stuff it, put it behind us, we watch videos, we watch TV, we eat, we do all kinds of things rather than actually face what we're afraid of.
Exactly.
And so if I would like to use the analogy that fear is behind me, and it's that nagging in the back of your neck,
Hmm.
in your temples, like nee. It's that little, what if this and what if that, and whatever you focus on, you will empower. So
Yes.
even by ignoring it and not facing it, I am truly letting it build and grow bigger. So what I like to pretend is, this is in the beginning, is pretend like fear is a person,
Okay.
and you grab it by the collar, like you're really mad and you're serious. And
Okay.
you grab it by the collar and you speak to the fear, not
Okay.
ignore it. So that's one activity. Another
Well,
one is, journaling. I
Yeah.
call it a brain dump. Write down everything you're afraid.
Yeah.
Then on the next piece of paper, find an affirmation, a promise, a truth, and write it in oppose to it, and begin to speak the truth every time the fear wants to rear its head.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, if you will, the fear will get tired.
Mm.
What really happens is you've rewrote what's going on in your brain. But when we begin to speak the truth, so I'm afraid nobody likes me. I've been there, done that. Afraid I'm not accepted. I'm not lovable. I've had all of those feelings.
Right.
And what I begin to say instead, to use a practical example, is everybody loves me. I am very likable. I used to have a very stern countenance because it was so focused, so a lot of stuff. And I began to say, Donna smiles a lot.
Okay.
It wasn't the way I felt, but it was I began to say that. And the other one of my favorite is my past doesn't determine my future.
Okay.
And so you address the fears with truth.
Okay.
You begin to speak that instead. It is a process. Everybody would love it if we could just step into a magic booth and all of the fears would go away.
Yes.
But it is an act because they took root because you thought them over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're doing is replacing those fears. We're pulling up the weeds, replacing them with something you actually want to grow in the garden of your mind.
You know, you mentioned mentor several times. What value, or, you didn't say coach, you said mentor. What value do you see in having a mentor? And I don't know whether you still have one or not.
I do.
Yeah. So and what's the difference though for a coach versus a mentor from your perspective?
Today, I would say it's more training.
Okay.
But in the beginning, when I began to get people to speak into my life, coaching wasn't a word that we used.
Okay.
And so I am going through the decades where coaching wasn't as popular. It wasn't a common word as it is today. When somebody told me that I needed to open a coaching practice, I was thinking football or athletic. And I'm like, that's not who I am.
Exactly.
I had no concept of the way that coaching is today, because before it would have been called a mentor. So it's the same thing. It's just the value you get on it will be the value you place on it.
Okay. There's something that you use, and I always hear people talk about, they have so much baggage. Can you just get rid of the baggage? And you said, can we turn the baggage into luggage? What do you mean by that? turn the baggage into luggage, because I think we all come with some baggage.
Yes, we all have some form of it, and you've heard some of mine that I was experiencing. Baggage thinking for me is, why did this happen? That why question. Why? And then resentment and anger and unforgiveness. And one of the things Vibrant Living is big about is stopping identity theft.
Okay.
And I'm not talking, of course, about our credit card. It's all those beliefs that really steal who I am. I had somebody recently say to me, Donna, I remember you back when you were shy. You were always in the back of the room. You avoided being in front of anything. And what happened to you to get you where today?
Yeah.
And so my identity was stuck in, I'm not good enough. Somebody will criticize me. All of those kind of feelings and that were going on. And when that began to change to actually the truth, the real me began to shine through. Wow. And so it is a process. One of the things is we're most surprised when we open the gift that's us. because we've all got some kind of label, some
Yeah.
kind of thing that's been placed on us. You're not smart enough. You talk too
Yeah.
much, or you talk
Yeah.
too little, or even introvert and extrovert is a label.
Yeah.
Yes, there's some truth to those behaviors, but we can make them a crutch.
Right.
I'm an introvert.
So am I.
So I rejuvenate by being by myself.
Yes.
But I spend most of my time right here.
That's right.
And so all of the labels that we put on ourselves, I didn't go to the right schools, I grew up in the wrong neighborhood, whatever it is,
Yes.
whatever it may be, stops us from living our best life. And so that is baggage thinking.
Okay.
Those are things that baggage.
Right.
And then luggage thinking.
Yeah.
Just this switch is, I can't change what happened to me. I couldn't change what happened to me. But I determined I was going to use it to grow and become the best me I could be.
Wow.
And to do that, the first step is looking for the gift. There's 4 steps in this process. Is begin to look for what I can learn, how I can grow. These are gifts wrapped in sandpaper. They're not pretty bows. They're not presents we want.
Right.
But you begin to search for the gift. I am resilient. I am stronger than I thought I was. There's so many things. I can overcome all kinds of adversity that I didn't think I could.
Yeah.
So looking for the gift is the first step. Number 2 is begin to get a bigger picture in mind. If your life was a book, let those things be a chapter and turn the page. Create a new chapter. It doesn't have to be the same old again and again and again.
Right.
And forgiveness and compassion is for yourself and for others. You cannot turn your baggage into luggage. You cannot create a life by design without forgiveness being in the picture. And that is one of the most misunderstood words. I've done whole multiple podcasts on explaining forgiveness.
Yeah.
But it is a process that it is misunderstood. It is about me. It is not about them, just to summarize. And the 4th is get a coach or get support, get a counselor, get someone that can help you. Somebody else has been through whatever you've been through.
Yes, that's true.
And but when we're injured, when we're hurt, we withdraw naturally, and we put up walls, and we don't want to, and I'm going to DIY it, is what I say. I'm going to figure this out on my own. I need to pull up my bootstraps and figure this out, kind of a feeling. And that's silly, because somebody out there has been through what you're going through and can help you find the easy way instead of the hard way to be able to turn your baggage into luggage and then create the life you've always dreamed.
Right. So I want to talk about the inner critic. And I also want to talk about, as you indicated, we are all work in process. I mean, we're still, we still deal with our stuff, our old programming. What else helps you? Is it your faith that also helps you besides a mentor? Or what gives you your strength? What gives you, is it like you said, affirmations? Is it positive thinking? Is it you just made a decision that, look, this is what it's going to be? We talked about seeking help. What are some other ways that you've done it? Because I know my listeners, they'll say, yeah, that's good. I know, how, when I do speaking, and they'll say, well, yeah, we know it, but we're not doing it. But yeah, we know it all. We know to do it, but what's the difference between I know plus but I do? Like, what's the action? What gives you that action? What gives you your strength?
That was a loaded question, and that was a big question.
Yeah.
My strength comes from God.
Okay.
That's my core of who I am. And sooner or later, we get to the end of ourselves.
Yes.
And I I'm not sure where I would be. I'm not sure I'd even be alive if I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have God in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely wouldn't be where I am today.
Okay.
So that to me is core of, and I am talking about a relationship, not religion.
Yes. Okay.
And so to me, that's the big difference is wherever that, however you establish that. I help people with that all the time. But to
Okay.
create a relationship with God, not a religion.
Yeah.
Religion makes you feel like you're failing. Religion is a bunch of lists of things you're supposed to do or not do. And that's
Exactly.
not what I'm talking about.
So how do you form that relationship?
Well, the first step is talking with someone who can help you get there, which you're doing today,
Okay.
and begin to recognize that we need God, we need
Mm-hmm.
a savior,
Mm-hmm.
and then ask Jesus to help you to forgive your sins. And
Mm-hmm.
that's as simple as it is.
Yeah.
Ask, so it's nothing difficult.
Yeah.
But then it is any relationship, I need to begin to develop that relationship. So if you
Mm-hmm.
were going on your first date, you would begin to communicate. You would begin to learn about the other person. And it's the same way with God, whether it be going to the church that feels comfortable to you,
Mm-hmm.
reading the Bible, reading books, talking with other people to
Mm-hmm.
learn as well. All
Mm-hmm.
of that is process of building that relationship.
Right. Okay. Okay. I asked that because, I've had different guests on my show and they're different what they could like to call it modalities that they use to help or to get them from one place to another. And as my listeners know, I too am a woman of faith. And I also say if, when you get to a point where you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, you know, try God. That's what I always say. And I'm the same. It's not about religion, it's about a relationship, and that's to spend time with the one. And I always say, if you doubt it, try it. That's all
Yes.
I ask. Just try to see whether that'll change anything for you. Um, because you can get to a point where you've tried it all and that's not working. So I always say, so try God.
Yeah.
Uh, I have, you had talked about, which I thought was very interesting. We have certain, was it 6 gifts
Mhm.
that we have? Could you share what those gifts are that we automatically have?
Yes, we were created with 6 gifts.
Okay.
And if we do not know about them or how to use them properly, one of the examples I'll use is imagine you were given the keys to drive a race car.
Okay.
Now, if you are like me, I would probably shift incorrectly. I would probably burn a bunch of rubber. I would probably take the turns too sharp. And it could be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And it also would be a bumpy ride when if it was a skilled person, it could be exhilarating, right?
Yeah.
It could be fun and exhilarating. And life is like that. When we don't know how to utilize something the way it was created to utilize, it creates more stress in our life. One
Yeah.
of the gifts is imagination.
Mm.
Now, if you think about when you were a child,
Uh-huh.
your imagination was fun.
Yeah.
You could do anything and be anyone, and anything was possible.
Mm-hmm.
It begins to decrease as we get in school. Stop daydreaming, right? And, all of the things. But as an adult, we use our imagination to terrorize ourselves.
Yes. That's
Think
so.
about it. You only have to have a kid that didn't get home when they were supposed to, or be in a store. What happened to us? We were at a mall and my 3-year-old daughter disappeared for a minute.
Oh gosh.
And imagination terrorizes you
Oh
because
yeah.
all of a sudden you're picturing the worst case scenario. Now she had wandered off and we found her again, but that moments in between was terror. And
Yes. It
so
was.
we use our imagination all the time, especially if we've had trauma, to try to prevent something bad to happening.
Mm-hmm.
and if we've had any kind of trauma, we become hypervigilant to people's
Yes.
attitudes and moods and stuff like
Yes.
that. And we begin to be all on guard, if you
Yes.
will, for something bad. Imagination wasn't created. I mean, it doesn't help, does it?
No. Right.
If somebody starts drinking and something bad's going to happen, it's still going to happen.
Yeah.
Just worrying about it doesn't help. So we've used this to hurt ourselves instead of help ourselves. Imagination is there to create. It's that part is, what would you love? And begin to pursue what you want. You asked me the question previously, how do we do this?
Yes.
And the biggest key is whatever you focus on, you empower, you make bigger.
Yes.
So if I am focused on not making a mistake, not dating the wrong guy, and I keep doing it and I don't know why, not spending money when I shouldn't, not eating too much, I'm focused on the not.
Okay, sorry about that. That's my little boy having a tantrum. So we all know that I'm human, right?
Oh, and so if I'm focusing instead on what I want instead, then that's what I empower.
Okay.
One of the examples is do you tell God about your problems, or do you tell your problems about your God?
That's good. It's very good.
So what are you focused on? If I'm focusing on, instead of I don't want to have a bad relationship, I'm going to focus instead, I'm going to choose healthy relationships. I'm going to make those choices. Instead of I would need to quit being fat or lose weight, I'm going to make healthy choices to have a healthy body.
Right.
Whatever you focus on, you are empowering. You are making bigger.
Right.
You are making a stronghold. And it builds up those identity labels that are not true.
Right. So what you're saying, Donna, that's a gift that we have, that we've been given, and that is imagination. So we can pivot that imagination, start thinking of some great things that we want to have, opposed to the fear and the anxiety. Oh, I'm always going to be like this. I'm always afraid. I don't do a good job speaking in front of people. So let's turn that imagination around. Is there another? I know I said 6, but we probably won't have as long to go through all the gifts. But is there one other gift that you think would be good for my listeners to hear that we have, that we can pivot it?
Intuition is another one.
Okay.
And I can briefly mention all of them, but intuition is, now that I'm imagining the life I would want, how could I get there? And to me, it's listening to the spirit. It's listening in the inside, your gut, whatever word resonates with you, to be able to say, what could I do to bring this to pass? What's one thing I could do to bring this around? How could I do this? And just sit in stillness and listen. It doesn't take a long time. As you train yourself to listen to intuition, it is easier to hear. Like if you were going, you realize there's music in the room that we're in? All we need is the radio to tune into the frequency, and we could pick it up.
Right.
The same is true for intuition, or whatever you're picking up on your gut is whatever you tune yourself into.
Okay.
So am I tuning into more fear? Or am I tuning in? Because imagination is really faith in action. It's just faith for good.
Yeah.
For bad.
Right.
And then intuition is one way to go there.
Okay.
One of the other ones is will. And I'm not talking about willpower.
Okay.
Perception is another one. And the other one's slipping my mind at the moment. But
that's about memory, right?
There you go. It was memory. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. See, I'm human.
That's right. Absolutely.
So learning to be able to look memory is looking to the future and seeing what it looks like. It's not just in the rear view mirror. And so I teach more about that as well.
Okay.
But when we utilize all of these gifts and resources that are available, step by step, we can begin to create a life we love. I want to help people at the end of their life not to have regrets, and you do too. You do too, because a lot of times you probably heard this. If we lived 70 years and start at 20, there's 50 years in there. Did we live 50 years, or do we live 1 year 50 times?
I like that. That's good. 1 year, 50 times. Wow.
And the same thing is happening. I'm just a little older.
That's right.
And so how do we create a life that we would love is utilizing all of this that I'm trying to, it's almost like a fire hose, trying to slow it down, utilize these tools to be able to, because you were designed for greatness, every single one of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there one thing that your people that you work with, you coach, you're training, that they struggle with? Is there a common theme that you feel that's probably the most difficult?
It was that inner critic, that self-doubt that we have.
Okay.
Anytime we push to a new level, if you will, trying to find a word to describe it, a new place, a new level is the easiest word I can think of. There is some unknown, and therefore there's a little bit of doubt, of self-doubt. Instead of looking at it as a bad thing, if I'm not feeling it, I'm probably in a comfort zone.
That's right. That's what I was going to say. Comfort and uncomfortable.
Yes. And so learning to embrace with anticipation of good, because I am growing. If I'm feeling some resistance, that's another coaching word we use. It's like, I feel a little bit like pulling back.
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
Right.
And anytime you and I, when we both started the podcast, our podcast, there was some of that. I don't know if I know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this and figure it out. And so when we try something new, when we go to a new place, when we engage with new people, when we take a new course, when we hire a new coach, I tell people right off the bat, some point in here, you're going to want to run away.
That's right.
Because it feels uncomfortable. And that means you're getting somewhere good. And I want you to embrace it and celebrate it.
Exactly.
Instead of running away. So that is the main thing, because people I work with are wanting to grow. So confidence is a capability we build over time, not something we magically feel. We think that some people are just born with confidence.
Absolutely.
It's a myth.
Right.
It's not true.
Real. Yeah. Let's be authentic here.
It's not true. Confidence is a capability we build over time.
Exactly.
It is not something we magically feel.
Wow. Well, Donna, my listeners, if you believe that this podcast is something that is going to help or bless somebody, please share. It's so similar to what I talk about. And this is like life by design, not by default. You understanding and knowing what it is that your best life looks like. You want to be able to design your life. You want to have a life that's fulfilling, that's meaningful. And it's okay to be uncomfortable, because if we're not, we are not growing. And we all want to grow. If we're not growing, we're not here. We're dying if we're not growing. So I just want to ask Donna, how can my listeners get in touch with you, Donna?
The best way, I am on social media, Facebook the most. So that is one way, but my website, and on the homepage, I have a free gift I'd like to offer today. It is called The Things I Can Control. And it is a tool for your business or personal life that will revolutionize your life. It's just a simple PDF, but it has guidelines there to help you achieve more and it addresses the fears. It addresses all the things we talked about today, because we would all like to control more, right?
Absolutely.
So it's called The Things I Can Control, and it's free on my website. My website is the letter I, vibrantliving.com.
The Things I Can Control. And that's free, guys. And you know we like free. And I guarantee that's going to help you. So I encourage you to take that. And right now, I want to thank Donna for being here. And my listeners, again, thank you. And God bless. And bye for now. And remember, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Is Your Way in Your Way airs Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much and blessings to all of you.